Today we're going to talk about the old Punnett square. You may have done this last year. I know you've done this last year, it's just I'm not sure how much. But Punnett square, that's a good heading. And then I want you to write that definition below. A tool that geneticists use to predict the possible traits offspring will have. A tool that geneticists use to predict the possible traits offspring will have. Okay. I would write this part right here. Geneticists use letters to represent alleles for a trait. Geneticists use letters to represent alleles for a trait. So we're going to assign a letter for a certain type of trait. If I'm going too fast, you can always pause. I'd probably write this. A capital letter represents a dominant trait, and a lowercase letter represents a recessive trait. So a capital is dominant, lowercase is recessive. I'm guessing you probably know most of this. You don't need to write this. Don't worry about writing this, but you're going to use the first letter of the dominant trait and use the same letter for the same trait. So, example right here, if we're talking about pea plants and we're saying tall is dominant to short. First of all, we're going to use T because it's the dominant trait. Okay, we're not going to use S since short is the recessive. But we're going to use T, and a big T, a capital T, is going to represent a tall, and a little t is going to represent a short gene. So hopefully this makes sense so far. So if we looked at this, and nothing to write, but if a plant is tall, we can have a couple combinations of genotypes. A big T. Now, keep in mind, it's going to get one of these T's from mom and one from dad. It might be this one, it doesn't matter, okay? But if it gets a big T from mom and a big T from dad, it's going to be tall. If it has a big T from mom and a little t from dad, it's still going to be tall. Maybe it got switched around. Maybe this is from dad and this is from mom. It doesn't matter. The big T is the dominant trait, so it's going to show. The little t is still there. Okay, that short gene is still there, but it's not showing. I kind of think of it as if you have a little brother. Okay, if you're the older sibling, okay, and you have a little brother, you kind of push him around. You kind of tell him what to do. Okay, you get to do what you want to do, and he just has to tag along. Okay? That's how I think of it. Okay? Now, if a plant is short, remember short is recessive, there's only one combination that it can be. Little t, little t. That means it'll be short. That means it got a little t from mom and a little t from dad. If it got a big T from either one of the parents, then it's going to be tall. Okay? But both of these little brothers are short here. Let me see here. Go ahead and write these two bullets here. So the T's, big T, big T, big T, little t, little t, little t, are genotypes. Genotypes are the letters. Phenotype would be the actual trait, so tall or short. So the letters are going to be genotypes, and the actual trait would be a phenotype. I will probably ask you that on the test, genotype and phenotype. Now, Remember, you get 2 chromosomes, and there's a 50-50 chance of getting a certain chromosome from each parent. So you don't need to write this, but you have if dad is big T, little t, you have a 50% chance of getting one or a 50% chance of getting the other. So I want you to write down homozygous and maybe underline that. And then give me both of those bullets, the little definition and the example. So if a plant is homozygous tall, that means it has 2 of the same alleles for the gene. The prefix homo means the same. So if it's homozygous, it has the same genes. They got big T from mom, big T from dad. They're the same. Or maybe it got little t from mom, little t from dad. They're the same. That's homozygous. We also might call this purebred. Some of you may have pets or livestock that are purebred. If I have a dog that is, both of my dogs are purebred Great Danes. That means that their mom was, a Great Dane, and their dad also was a Great Dane. They are purebred. So they have the same type of genes. They are homozygous. We're going to use this term a lot. The opposite of homozygous is heterozygous. Heterozygous, hetero means different. They're going to have an allele for each gene. So a big T and a little t. Got one of these from mom and one from dad. This is hybrid. We do this a lot with our livestock and a lot with our pets. You might say, oh, I have a golden doodle. A lot of people have a golden doodle. Well, that's half golden retriever and half poodle. And they breed them a certain way because golden retrievers are known to be awesome family dogs. They're loving and they're great with kids. Okay, but they shed a lot. They're hairy creatures. A poodle, on the other hand, is not known to be great family dogs, but their hair is hypoallergenic. So I think they only shed 1 time a year. So when you breed those 2 together, you're going to get a family dog, a loving family dog, that doesn't leave hair all over the place. So we took the best of both breeds. That is heterozygous. That is a hybrid. My wife drives a hybrid car. It is not an electric car. It's not completely a gas car. It's a little of both. Sometimes it actually burns gas, and then it charges a battery, and when that battery is charged, then it'll run on the battery until the battery goes dead, and then it'll run on gas until it charges the battery. So it's not completely gas, it's not completely electric. It is a hybrid. So heterozygous are different genes, homozygous is the same genes. So with our Punnett square, here's our example. Green is a dominant trait for leaf color. Yellow is a recessive trait for leaf color. These are just made up. These are just fun and easy. So green is dominant to yellow. So what letter would we use for a green leaf? Well, first of all, we would use a G because green is dominant, so we're going to use G. Now for green, we're going to use a big G, a capital G. And for yellow, we're going to use a lowercase g. We're still using G because we always use the first letter of the dominant trait. So green is big G, yellow little g. Okay, so our example, we're going to cross a homozygous green leaf plant with a yellow leaf plant. Homozygous means the same, and since it's green, it's going to be big G, big G. For yellow, there's only one combination, and it has to be little g, If there's a big G in there, then it's going to be green, so it has to be little, little. And when we cross that, by cross it means they have babies together. Okay, this is how we're going to set it up. It doesn't matter if you put the big G's on the side and the little ones here, or flip them. It doesn't matter, but put one parent on the top and one parent on the bottom. Okay, so then this drops down. Oh, I started in the wrong place. These are going to drop down. So the big G, you're going to put that there and there. Okay, this big G there and there. Little G goes there and there. Little G goes there and there. So you're going to kind of cross them. So drops down, goes across. So we end up with big G, little g. By the way, we always put the capital letter first and then the lowercase. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, the offspring on here, what are they going to look like? They're going to be heterozygous green leaf plants. They're all going to be big G, little g. So they're going to look green, but they will carry that yellow trait, or the yellow gene. Here's another one. Cross a heterozygous green leaf plant with a homozygous green leaf plant. So, here we go. This would be heterozygous green, a big and a little. This would be homozygous green, a big and a big. So when we fill those out, we get big G, big G, big G, little g, big G, and big G, little g. So these two are homozygous green. These two are heterozygous green. All of their offspring will be, oh, by the way, 2 out of 4 will be GG, big G, or half. 2 out of 4, or half, will be big G, little g. But they're all going to be green. You will not get any yellows. This is called complete dominance. Take a moment and write this down, please. Complete dominance, when the dominant trait is represented in the genotype and is the trait that is seen in the phenotype. So basically, what this means is that one is going to show completely and one is not. In this instance here, okay, the big T for tall is going to show and the little t for short is not going to be. It's going to be there, but it's not going to show. So when these go head to head, the big T always wins. The big brother always wins. That is complete dominance. There will be times in the future that we talk about where they go head to head and neither of them really win. They both kind of share it. But in this instant, one shows and one does not.